Guys, so I've definitely encountered a couple of books regarding like NDEs, like near-death experiences, where people they basically run down all the way to 0%, and then they kind of have to get charged back up a little bit, right? And their experiences are all widely different, right? I cannot imagine being in that state of just not knowing, right, what's going on, really, truthfully. I mean, you could be having like crazy dreams, like crazy psychedelic dreams, but I would say the overwhelming majority of people that do kind of come back from expiration, let's say, a lot of them speak about a euphoric state, right? Bright lights and all types of things, depending on if they're religious or not. That's when you're going to kind of get the bright light scenario, right? But everyone can basically say the same thing about the overall state of euphoria. Is that what happens when life no longer kind of exists within your body? What is it, guys? I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm here for it, all right? Absolutely. We're going to find out today. All right, so this is a suggestion via Patreon. The name of the video is What's It Like to Be in a Coma? This is coming from the channel The Clarity Project. All right, let's check it out. Let's see where this takes us, guys.
So I was in a coma. Great conversation starter.
It is, actually.
It's a complicated story. I had a surgery and it was bad, and I got an infection and then attacked my lungs, and so then induced coma. So it was something called a
medically induced coma.
Induced coma. So I didn't just pass out. They actually gave me drugs and continuously gave me drugs.
Right, to keep you there.
2 weeks or so that I could be in this sleep state and they could try and heal me and get me to live.
Okay.
So many dreams, so many stories. So here you go. This is what it's like being in a coma.
Let's go.
First things first, everything that happens in the real world, you hear, you're aware of, you kind of know what's going on, but it goes through this weird like filter thing in your brain, and by filter I mean it's going through the drugs, and then it turns into something else once it like actually hits your consciousness. So example, I know a lot of people would come to visit and sit by my bed and talk to me. I heard my stepmom and my own nanny talking and all of that, and I heard what they were saying, but then in my head we were in like a girls' camp, like one of those like log cabin camps, and they were gossiping about one of the other girls. Really, they were just talking about like one of the nurses and something she had said, but like in my head they were like gossiping, and I was like in on it too. I was talking back to them, but I wasn't actually talking. And sometimes this messes me up so much when I'm going and looking back like on the whole experience. I remember so clearly saying something back to them and being like, oh yeah, that Peggy. I didn't say anything. So it was like all a weird conversation in my head with everyone, and I wasn't even talking. Another thing that would happen was like uncomfortable positions that they would put me in.
Okay.
My brain would make up a story for why I was in those positions.
Okay, so listen, I don't want to interrupt her like that, but I think what she's trying to say is, I'm going to give you an example here. Like, can you imagine if you are sleeping, obviously, right? And you have to urinate really badly, and you're in the middle of your dream state, but you know what? Your dream turns into you having to rush to the bathroom, right? For some real reason, then you end up waking up when your body just can no longer kind of handle it, guys. It seems like intrusive thoughts in your dreams, in a sense, right? Or when someone's speaking around you when you're sleeping, and their conversation somehow gets involved in your dream, and you're, okay, we're here.
At one point, they had to actually tilt the bed in something called Trendelenburg, which is like literally tipping you upside down.
For blood
flow? So
flow?
there it was, like upside down and like swollen like a balloon at that point.
Right.
And in my head, I was like going in this weird like hammock thing. And then I remember I got like my foot caught in the hammock, and so I was like hanging upside down. And I was like, this is so weird, why can't I move? Like, I should just be able to pull myself up. But then logic doesn't really work very well.
No, I can imagine.
The best part, though, and the thing that kind of inspired a whole trip after I got out of the coma, was all of my Alaska hallucinations. I've never been to Alaska. I've never, like, shown any interest in Alaska. But for some reason, while I was asleep, I kept going to Alaska in my head, and it was so beautiful. It was like pine trees and coves, and I remember just like sitting there and just like staring at the most beautiful scenery ever for hours and hours, and there'd be like a little deer off in the corner, and it would be freezing cold, but I didn't care. Turns out I was getting ice packed the whole time. So I had a crazy high fever and a crazy high infection. And what they do for that is they put ice packs all around you. Like this is literally like the most advanced thing they can come up with.
Right.
So being iced, I guess somewhere in my brain I thought like ice, Alaska, totally makes sense.
Isn't that interesting how the brain works, guys?
One of the funny things too was the way that people's voices, like if I liked the person who was talking and I felt safe there, it would affect what was going on in my head. And I didn't notice this at the time, but like once I came out, I kind of like studied the whole experience. But every time it was my mom or my dad or people that I loved, it was someplace beautiful and it was comforting. And when it was people that I just kind of barely knew, it was always strange and I had no idea where I was and I felt kind of lost. And actually gets me thinking a lot about how that happens on a regular basis, even when we're not on crazy drugs. Like how do the people that we're around and the experience that we're
affect
in
you,
influence our brain and our minds and how we see the world? Like pretty much being in a coma is just like a very magnified and intense version of our own dreams. And so what can we learn from them and what can we learn about ourselves? And I learned so much from that experience. I mean, first of all, that I love Alaska, apparently. But second of all, I really love, like, it showed me who I care about and who makes me happy and how the world can be manipulated so easily and how our own minds can be manipulated and we can really believe so much. I don't know, talking about it kind of makes me happy in a weird way. You wouldn't think that, but yeah. So if you have any more questions, please,
guys, I love her energy.
And I will make fun and interesting videos on them. Like all of my videos are, right?
Guys, her energy is... Wait, what is this here? Okay, additional photography. She's crediting everyone. All right, good. Oh, guys, I've never even thought deeply about what it would be like to be inside of a coma or in a coma, in a state of coma, let's say, right? It's a long dream. It's a long dream. And what's crazy is that she had the ability to kind of remember every single aspect of her dreams. Because I can go to sleep right now and attempt to recall anything that I dreamt. It's gone. It's gone as soon as I wake up, bro. It's completely gone. But, listen, she has the ability to do that, so I respect it thoroughly. I'm not sure that I actually want to experience a coma. I would think that it's probably like a lot of time loss for those who don't dream as vividly as she. You're probably just going to have a long sleep, like dreamless rest. You're going to feel very well rested, but you're going to wake up and be absolutely disoriented by the fact that time has gone on without you, right? That's kind of terrible, I guess, to sit and think about, guys. Think about it. You mean something, absolutely, right? But time in itself is absolutely just going to go on without you guys. Listen, I don't want to think about that. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Wow. Got me thinking about life now. I'll catch you guys later.